Welcome to Friday Night's video in our second Master Series. I do believe this is the 51st video in our second Master Series, and the last video on talking about metering. Now, there's a bunch of other meters in your DAW for level meterings and things like that that are pretty obvious meters that are basically directly related to what we've talked about so far. But as we get in here, some of the biggest things that we talked about when we were talking about metering, that I always try to get you back to this mentality of keeping them open. Have them open so you can keep visualizing what is going on, to familiarize yourself with what is happening so you can become more and more familiar with footprints, so that as you become a better and better audio engineer, that you're really seeing things that are happening and being able to not just hear things. We had talked about acute and critical listening and working on honing those skills, but acute and critical visualization, so that you are not throwing away half of your tools as an audio engineering, being your eyeballs, and to really try to drill it into you how important it is for you to get out your meters and start learning to use them, start relying on them, start using them in conjunction with your listening abilities to help you find target things, so that every moment in time is important in your mind, and these tools help you target issues, or when you can enhance things to make things better at every moment in time. And I can't drill that into your head enough to try to help you get that drilled in your head so that you can become that quote unquote next level master audio engineer. So there's other things we can talk about, but basically, as far as the metering systems, if you can get in your head what I've talked about so far and start experimenting with them, start practicing with them, start utilizing them and keeping them open and using them, that you will more and more and more find that they are very helpful to you, be it to help get you to that next level by you catching things that are happening in every moment in time, to flag things. You will need to get flags all over the place to help make things better. And also to start getting you used to seeing footprints, start understanding what your meters are telling you, start finding out, parameters that are acceptable, between certain parameters, when they're going outside of those parameters in different situations, so that you can start visualizing those things. It comes to whenever you're dealing with different instruments, different situations, what you're doing, sometimes you can't hear those things as well as you think you might be able to, and having some visualization help is very helpful. And being able to start seeing these footprints, and when things are inside of certain parameters that they should be and falling within certain ranges that are going to be okay, are going to help take you to that next level. It is of utmost importance for you to get to that next level. In the first Master Series, we did not get that in depth to things that we've been talking about so far in this second Master Series. And your meters are a huge thing that we didn't get that deep into, because I see people, they've got spectrometers, they got oscilloscopes, they got tuning meters, they've got different types of leveling meters, and they don't use them at all. And it's like they never use them all. They're throwing away half their tools, and their stuff never sees the light of day. And we talked about things like impulse and frequency responses, and starting to experiment with those, and starting to find out, where in the production things are being affected by that, because they will be. And later on, we'll get into it when we're talking about reverberation and things like that, being able to visualize that a little bit better in different ways. We can visualize that. We also talked about stereo field meters, that I don't have one open right now, and stereo field meters are huge. They impact your production in a lot of different ways. And when we went through it, we talked about it in a very fundamental way to get you experimenting it and seeing that it is an important thing to trying to really help you visualize basic footprints and things that are happening so that you can start flagging things and seeing that this may be an issue or not, and start finding parameters, norms, things that you can accept, things that you can't. And that goes with all your meters. One meters, some meters, there are more advanced meters. I do recommend something like MATLAB. I have MATLAB, and if you're going to become that next level master audio engineer, I suggest you buy a student version of that and start understanding all the different parameters. You get into oscilloscopes, spectrometers, all kinds of different things. They have audio engineering packages that can help you understand a whole lot of other things that are happening in your production that aren't really being taken into consideration, that do have an impact on what you're doing. And you going to that next level of being that next level master audio engineer, that I recommend you buying that piece of software and investigating the other parameters that they're trying to investigate that are having an impact that aren't normally spoken of normally in the quote unquote music production arena. And we also talked about some other pieces of software that I highly recommend, like Melodyne. I recommended something like, RX, Sonic Visualizer, REW, a good composition software, and a good notebook to make good notes about everything that's happening. Those are some very, as far as I'm concerned, you becoming that next level master audio engineer are going to be very helpful to you in getting there. And it's going to help you in your studies, your experimentations, and your analysis of what's going on, because your analysis of what's happening is going to cause you to utilize the tools that you have in a more productive way and a better way, rather than just things being pulled out. Now, don't get me wrong, I pull out my synth sometimes and I just like to mess around. And sometimes I come across things on accident that I thought, well, I don't know that that'll do anything. All of a sudden, wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, dude, that is pretty cool. Then I start investigating. What did that do? What's happening there? So I can understand the concept of what's happening there. Synthesizers are another thing. I remember when I first got into it, analyzing the audio, I think it was Zen Sub Ad FX synthesizer. And I don't know if it's still free, but I think they have some other versions of it. But the old version of it was cool because you could get right down to the basic sinusoids and start building sounds off of it, all the way up to a full super complex synth patch. And not that this synthesizer was all that, it was basically free, but it would let you affect all different aspects of sound, a lot of different aspects of sound. And it was more like a modular synthesizer, like a hardware synthesizer, rather than some of the software synths that they come out with now. It was pretty cool. Like some of the old software or hardware synths, you see little wires going all over the dang place. That it was more like that kind of setup that really let you experiment with sound. So I do not dissuade you from that. Also, synthesizers, things like that can really help you experiment with sound so that you can really start utilizing these tools and analysis tools better. But I hope I made it very clear how important it is to me to get you to get these tools out, to have them open all the time, to start analyzing your audio visually rather than just auditorially, and to help take you to that next master level. So I certainly hope you enjoyed this short segment on your analysis visualization tools and your meters. And coming up, we're going to start talking about some of our processors, basic processors, effects processors, and things like that. So peace, hope, love. I certainly hope you enjoyed this short segment on your metering systems, and I will see you in the next video.